When I'm starting a project, I'll have a design that I kind of work from. I'll go and have a look at the site, I'll look at how people are using the space, about the materials that I'm going to use, and really kind of researching the history as much as possible. And most of my work is quite involved in social history actually, and a sort of connection. So I think above all it just needs to kind of make sense in that space really. So you're constantly questioning and adapting, and sometimes it's those ideas that come and then the design kind of evolves through that really. Experimentation is a big part of the work. I might have an idea in my head that that's going to be a great plate to work with, or I want these buttons in it, but I don't know how the things are going to work until I start placing them on the panel. So I'll gather all the materials and then just start kind of laying things out. Even though I've been doing it for 20-30 years, you're still learning, and each time I use new materials or a different project, I'm learning a different technique, and I think that's what keeps it fresh actually, is to keep experimenting, keep changing and growing. Sometimes if you're thinking too much from your head, you know, thinking I've got to make this look beautiful and it's got to work in a certain way, you kind of have to push it down and work from your gut, really work from your heart, and then it goes smoothly. But it's also, if it does go wrong, and if the colour isn't right, or you've stuck something that's the wrong level, it doesn't matter. It's kind of part of it. And weirdly, I find it kind of slightly satisfying if I have made a mistake, because you can keep improving. If everything's totally perfect, you're not so motivated to do your next project better. Materials-wise, I collect things from people, so my work is very much about the people that I'm working with, and it's mainly plates. So crockery is like a really big part, and I do use lids and cups and saucers and things, anything made of ceramic. I also quite often use buttons, coins, beach glass, and kind of odd bits of jewellery. That's something that I've done, you know, since I was like 16, 17. So even A-levels, all of my work was made out of newspapers. And I started doing collages out of old music manuscripts and stamps and old the gold cigarette paper, tin cans, clocks. It's the fact that these things have had a life before, that they're slightly damaged or just very ordinary or kind of overlooked objects. And I call it like a kind of reincarnation, the ordinary made extraordinary. There's something really quite kind of joyous about using those sort of things that are kind of chipped and unwanted or discarded, and then actually, you know, creating something out of them. It is giving them that new life, and then people treasure them more. Having worked with recycled materials for sort of 30 years or so, for me it just seemed like a really natural thing to do. It's not a gimmick, it's not a kind of trend. For me it's more a kind of way of life. My whole ethos with, you know, what I eat, how I grow things, how I forage, how I kind of cycle, you know, just everything is about not wasting things, and making sure that everything's kind of really valuable. The audience in public art are absolutely essential. It won't exist without them, basically, and more so for me because I collect all my materials from them. If I'm working on a specific commission, I normally put out to the local area, or if it's a particular building, it'll be people connected with the building or the place, and get materials donated. For the Art Centre project, they've had a blue box where people can donate their blue and white crockery, and people are literally posting pennies through the letterbox, and so the pennies are going to be included in the mosaics as well. And when I get the pieces donated by people, it's theirs, it's their work, it's their energy, it's their item that's going into the mosaic. So I really believe that public art, when it works at its best, when the piece is installed, it looks like it's home, like it's always been there.